If you've ever wondered what goes into planning a large scale balloon installation using 100,000 balloons, today I'm going to take you behind the scenes. My name is Sarah Meyer. I'm the host of the Bright Balloon podcast, the show that helps you make more money and stress less. And I also run a balloon business full time. Now, unlike most of my jobs, which are parties, corporate events, I have a dream job, which is called the Balloon Adventure. And it's an annual community event where I am hired to design and execute a huge immersive balloon event. While it is a dream job, it also takes a lot of planning, a lot of designing, a lot of organization, and a lot of help. I bring in 15 professional balloon artists from all over the world to bring this vision to life in a matter of 4 or 5 days, and then it's open to the public for 10 days. So, with that comes a lot of logistics, a lot of prep work because we don't have a lot of time to figure it out on the fly. So, I'm going to show you what my process is like. All right, let's jump in and talk about where to start. The first starting point is a theme, and I am lucky to work with a great charity on this event, and they have welcomed me into those discussions. And there are some tips I have in choosing a good theme. Under the Sea was a great theme. First of all, because it's been done before, so we had some photos to promote the event. That is the hardest thing in creating a huge balloon installation. People don't understand what that's going to look like. So it's hard to promote it if you're trying to get people to come. So I would recommend choosing a recognizable theme, something that's been done before, at least on a small scale, because then you have photos to use for promotion. So Under the Sea was a great theme. It also allowed for a lot of variety. It wasn't just blue with dolphins. We were able to do creatures, we were able to do a shipwreck, we had pirates, we had mermaids, we had all sorts of things. We had glowing jellyfish. So it visually didn't get boring. And as a designer, it also didn't get boring. I wasn't just ordering all the blue balloons and doing water everywhere. There was a ton of variety and interest. So I think it starts with a really good theme. Next, I move to Pinterest. I look for everything that's been done before. Even if it's on a smaller scale, I know that I can scale up and do things on a larger scale. I just like inspiration from any balloon artists, any installations, even florists, corporate events. It doesn't have to be balloons. I like to just get ideas and then I start constructing zones. So instead of designing everything at once, I like having different zones so I can go one by one. So for example, I named ours, we had like the Guppy Grotto, we had the Shark Park, and that was all the swimming sharks and whales. We had the Mermaid Mania, which was another area. It turned all pink and pastel, and that's where the mermaids are. So that helps kind of define the zones visually, but also for me, it makes it more bite-sized, and I'm not trying to design this whole thing in one sitting. So I go to Pinterest, I make boards, and then once I'm kind of zeroing in on ideas, I actually edit and I remove stuff from Pinterest. So that way I'm a little bit more focused. I don't need 5 different inspirations of how to make a clamshell. I just choose the best one. From there, I'm ready to start designing. I used balloonpro.co for a lot of my planning. This is a great way to map out designs, and you can do everything from duplet walls to arches to quick link walls, and you can actually map out what you want to see, what it's going to look like. It prints out an exploded view, basically a plan, and then quantities of balloons that you need to order. So that is the most technical part of planning something like this. So I do 90% of my work before anybody gets there. And I probably do the other 10% after they leave because I maintain the installation for 10 full days. The easy part is when the artists are there building everything. I do very little building because I'm running around kind of managing, but all the prep work and all the maintenance after is kind of my task. So that leads to the fun part, which is ordering all of the balloons. As you can imagine, it is a lot. I put everything into a spreadsheet by size, by color, and then little notes of where I want to order because you have to use different distributors. This is not a sponsored event. I pay for every single balloon. I pay for every single artist, I pay for everything. So I'm shopping around, I'm trying to find the best deals, I'm trying to find what's available because I'm ordering on such huge quantities. You can't always just log into your regular distributor and order 500 bags of white balloons. So the ordering process takes a while, and I try to do this about 3 months before the event starts. After the balloons arrive, the huge task of sorting begins. So every balloon gets sorted into its designated design and put into a bag or a box. And then the recipes also get added into the box. So these are like kits that are ready to go when the artists arrive. Okay, so these are all the balloons, and this is the recipe for the organic swags. So someone will be assigned to this job. They will be able to grab the bag. They have all the balloons they need, the recipe, and they'll be ready to go. So I think this worked really well last year, and it's worth the time on the front end to save the time on the back end. We're ready. Okay, it's officially load in day. Today, we start. The team doesn't arrive for 2 more days, but Kate and I loaded the entire van. I'm headed over to the venue right now to start loading everything in and setting up. Today, I'm going to get organized and build some framework so that when everyone arrives, we will be ready to go. I wanted to mention another tip, and that is designing for the space. So you just saw the empty room. That dictates a lot. They might choose the venue for you and you're going to have to make it work, but you should design the best you can given the space that you have. And here's where the fun part begins. Finally, the team arrived, the recipes were done, the balloons were sorted, and we just got right to work on that first day. We didn't have a lot of time, so we like to kind of front load and get as much done on day 1 and 2 as possible so that if we are behind, we can modify the plan, or we can do some extra things if you have enough time. So we did add a few components on a whim because we did have the time. Luckily, because everything was so planned, we didn't miss a beat when I got sick. I actually got the flu halfway through the week and I was completely gone for a day. And the team did such a good job of just continuing to pull the recipes and troubleshoot. And obviously, there were errors, there were mistakes, things didn't fit like I thought they would. Certain balloons didn't arrive. So we had to be flexible and we had to make it work. And everybody did, even without me there. So I was able to come back on the last day to a nearly finished installation and I was thrilled. Speaking of the artists, I wanted to take a second to talk about choosing a team. I brought in 15 artists this year, and most of them were from out of state. And that's the biggest question I get. How do people get invited to this event? Well, I chose people based on specialty skills. I wanted people that could do things that I could not. Personality, I needed people that were going to be easy to work with and work with my personality. So I am not much of a steamroller when it comes to um, leading a team. So if I have someone who's pushing back a lot, I'm probably going to give in. And I know that about myself. So I chose people that are easy to work with, that will roll with the punches, and that will trust that what I'm saying is the way I want it done instead of constantly pushing back because there's so many decisions that I've made up front. I just needed people that were going to support those decisions and then also make the best decisions on the fly. So I didn't invite anyone that I had never worked with before because sometimes you can love someone on Instagram. You can love someone when you go out to dinner with them, but then you might not love working alongside of them just because we all have our own ways of doing things. Some people are not calm under pressure. Some people cannot stand for 12 hours. This is a hard job. So I invited people that I've worked with before that I know could work the long hours and that wouldn't make a stink about things being done a different way than they're used to because we all do things differently. And I chose my friends, right? I wanted this to be fun. I wanted this to be an exciting event for everyone there. I didn't want it to be stressful. I didn't want it to be, like a nail biter. Like, are we even going to finish? I knew that the people coming were going to get the job done. And because it went so well the first year, everybody was invited back a second year and everyone was invited back a third year. So this is a job. This isn't an event for balloon people. And I think that that is a differentiation between this large build and others that might exist. This isn't like a convention model where people are coming to attend and learn. This is a paid job that I need to fulfill for the client. So I am paying and bringing in artists that are going to work to deliver what we've promised. All right, I'd like to give you a tour of the Balloon Adventure Voyage into the Deep Sea. This tunnel I have called the Tommy Tunnel. It is a little tribute to our friend Tommy DeLorenzo, who was part of our balloon crew last year and unfortunately passed away since then. So we did just a couple of nods to him and his company with some greens, and then there is a castle that he built last year for our Emerald City installation, and this year we repurposed that design and made a little Tommy castle that's like a fish tank castle this year. So even though he wasn't able to be here with us this year, it was nice having him here in spirit. All right, the next neighborhood in our Under the Sea installation is Nemo Nation. So we have Just Keep Swimming, we have an octopus, we have a photo op where you can take a picture wearing the snorkel and flippers, and we even have a Nemo hidden in the marquees. Okay, next up we move into the Shark Park. So we have this awesome shark mural that is used as an arch to kind of lead people to the next area. We have some sharks made out of quick links hanging from the ceilings, and at the end we have one of my favorite pieces, which is a killer whale made on a framework. I love how this turned out. All right, one of the coolest areas that kids have loved is the Rave Cave. This is a really simple area with pretty classic balloon decor, but we use neon balloons and put a couple of black lights in there. So everything glows. We added some jellyfish. Definitely a crowd pleaser and super easy to achieve this effect. All right, this area we have called the treasure trove. We have a pirate ship and flag in front of a huge wave. We have a giant anchor and some other little treasures hidden throughout this section. This has been such a fun photo op, and I love how the team made this one come to life. One of the last areas is Mermaid Mania. So we have some colorful mermaid decor, a nice arch, we have some seahorses and a clamshell, and then of course we have the sculptures that were created by our twisters, Dennis Scott and Edward Munoz. They made those up on the fly and they turned out incredible. And finally, last but not least, we have our Dolphin Disco and our Guppy Grotto. This is the final neighborhood under the sea, and it's where families can end. They can hang out and color. There's the interactive balloon wall. This is where we did our rave under the wave one night, a movie viewing another night. So this is kind of our last area full of lots of kid designs, kid-friendly interactive things, all including balloons, and it is the last neighborhood before people leave the balloon adventure. All right, that is a wrap on the balloon adventure. I hope you enjoyed following along. It was a big project, a big success. Thank you so much to the team of people who came and to everyone involved in making this event a success. All right, that does it for the 2025 Balloon Adventure behind the scenes footage. Stay tuned because we are starting to plan the 2026 Balloon Adventure where we're going to do bigger and better and never before seen balloon sculptures. I can't wait. If you enjoyed this video, like and subscribe for more balloon business tips and tricks. I'll see you in the next one.